Greetings. Today's daily drop. I thought I'd just share a little bit of information about how the 5-day challenge is shaping up. I've now started to mail out to people and ask them if they're interested in taking the challenge. And I have one hoop for people to jump through, which is to do a radical honesty audit. Send me the results of the radical honesty audit, and then I can send a summary back to that person. And I can consider whether they might be eligible for the 5-day challenge. Now, I only have about, shall we say at this stage, 5 places available. I'm really at the experimental stage, the truth be known. I'm developing the resources. I've got all the resources up here in my head, and I've got the titles. Looking at leaky patterns, looking at communication leaks. One day of the challenge is called Stop Being Sorry. Another day is why I'll try equals I'll lie. And finally, I've given a little bit of information, or I will give some information about what happens to our physiology when we are suffering from nice guy sub-patterns and routines. So all in all, I'm putting together quite a nice package. And in the background, I've been working on creating a course around it and building out my system IO functions. I want to get automated emails out. Actually, it's a little bit problematic because if I get somebody interested, I'm going to send them a calendar and then they can book a first meeting with me. Well, when that meeting happens, that's when we can decide when to book the next meetings and the times and such like. So really, I don't need to set up a website with a calendar in it because I know my availability and the person at the other end knows their availability. And when we speak, then we can sort that out. All this to say, because I haven't done one of these before, I was over planning or over investing in the systems and the planning and the layout of the systems. This is a typical rookie mistake, isn't it? To overinvest time in planning for things that never happen or aren't ever likely to happen. Live and learn. It's what you get. This is what you get when you try something new. Interestingly enough, you end up finding out new things. Now, if you try something new and you find out new things, don't worry about it. It's quite natural. It's a circle of life thing. I'm looking forward to hearing from people who might be interested in doing this. Isn't it fascinating how we can develop relationships with people who are totally different to ourselves on the other side of the world? Millions and not billions of people going about their everyday business, living in the frozen wastelands of Siberia, down to the Sahel Desert, downtown Beijing, you name it. We've got people all over the world, all living their own reality. And yet with the information technology revolution that we've created, we can literally reach out to anybody and be in conversations with people. Like that. Even language is no longer an issue. I just ordered some earbuds which I can use to record myself and transcribe my recordings, but they also will render other people's languages into English for me, and vice versa. So we're living in an era where, due to the internet, due to AI, satellite communications, all of those things, if you have access to the right materials, i.e. computer and a laptop and modem, etc., and you don't live under an oppressive regime where the internet has been closed down on your behalf, you can reach out to anybody around the world. And you can also use AI to translate what you want to say to them. Communication need not be a problem anymore. So long story short here, I've been sending out emails to people all around the world, and I'll be fascinated to see who responds, if anybody responds. where they're from, and what their outlooks are. I happen to think that nice guy syndrome is an international, or at least an equal opportunities affliction. I don't think any culture, any society, or any group of people is not tarnished by nice guy syndrome at some level or other. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to hear what other people have to say. Have you tried to develop a course? Have you tried to develop a program of study, or have you tried to implement a coaching network or business for yourself? If you have, I'd be really interested to know if it was as difficult as I've made it for myself. I'm 2.5 years in, and I'm still stumbling over things that I should have got nailed a long time ago. I'm not going to say it's been a waste of time, because that's not true. The truth of it is that I can now do things much more quickly than I used to be able to do. I don't get as frustrated. I don't hurl epithets, or indeed any kind of animal. I don't hurl things anymore. I'm a little bit more patient, a little bit more measured, studied, and paced about how I do things. Whereas in the past, if I hit a rock, it was deemed a personal insult to me. Now, if I hit a rock, I think, cool, who knows, it might have gold in it. Let's dig it up and have a look. So the journey towards becoming a coach and a resource designer has been littered with all sorts of tragedies and second guessing, self-sabotage, and, well, just that desire to bail because things are getting a little bit difficult. I have negotiated those things reasonably successful. I'm not saying that I'm a master of it, because I can still get hit up. I can still get hit or knocked down by those negative feelings and thoughts just every so often. But then I guess nobody is impervious to those. It's not like anybody out there, unless they got a slate missing. I don't think there are many people out there who are not riddled with some form of self-doubt or second guessing, procrastination, sabotage, you name it. But of course, as I've pointed out in other places, that need not be an issue, because instead of calling ourselves a self-saboteur, or instead of calling ourselves a procrastinator, my system encourages you to see how your neurological patterns have formed. It may be way back in childhood, it could be in the last 10 years, 5 years, whatever. But basically, something has formed which has given conscious thought to subconscious ideas. I have to stop myself there, because I just realized I just went into a bit of a daydream while I was talking. I can't even recall what I was talking about. Yeah. When you come live with me, when you come live with the pattern interrupter, I can promise you one thing: patterns will be interrupted. Yeah, I went into ramble mode there and I forgot what I was talking about. So let's just clear the decks and go back to basics. Oh, while I'm at it, have you heard of an abstraction ladder? An abstraction ladder is an interesting idea. It's what you do is you take an idea, and then you treat that idea as the central rung of a ladder. And then from that idea, you add one level of advancement, each rung at a time. So the nice guy can be zero rung or middle rung. Above that can be the reset guy, somebody who is a nice guy who has decided to reset. Above that could be the stand-up guy. This guy has reset and now is standing up for himself and for others. A step above that on the abstraction ladder could be the leader. And above the leader could be a mentor. And above the mentor could be the emperor. But if we were to go down the ladder from the nice guy rung, you'll have underneath the nice guy, you'll have the thinker, the person who thinks but doesn't do. Under that, you may have the simp, the person who chases with no desire to catch. And below the simp, you might have the fantasist. Under the fantasist, it might be the boy. Under the boy, it could be the brat. And under the brat, it could be the lost. All this to say that for any given abstract idea, there are going to be rungs of ladders above and below. And in an ideal situation, I would like to try and bring people up to the leader, at least, the mentor, or the don, or the emperor. So I'd like to break down some of the patterns and self-sabotaging behaviors that people engage in and encourage them to see the behaviors as patterns which they've learned, which their brain has learned, and which they can unlearn and replace using the same material, i.e. the same brain. That's why I call myself the pattern interrupter, because from an NLP viewpoint, and I'm not an NLP practitioner, the idea of interrupting a pattern is one of the basic ones. And I've seen Tony Robbins use it very effectively. So let's go. If you'd like to join the 5-day Tiny Challenge, please feel free to contact me, coaching@leeclarkcta.com, and reach out, and I will get back to you with some information. I can only take 5 people at this particular time, and if this is successful, then I will go into widening my calendar so that I can be available for more people, more times. So, peace out, everybody, and remember, whatever it is you dare to do or dream, you can begin it now.